Mr. Lynch, life's only been high forever. Good morning, Mr. Mason simply. Mr. Mason simply. Or 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 simply. David. Lynch. It's January 21, 2026, and it's Wednesday in Naples. Today, the middle sky, for me as Rapson, for me it's equivalent of variable, and practically in fact sun clearly alternated with the day scatters in general alternated with the cloud. In fact, it's a case with the cloud. In fact, it's a case of the day, but in general mostly cloudy. It also seems fast now. Precipitato subito da Wind Golden DV 51 51 at Fahrenheit 11 Celsius. This means it's really cold, like in this year. It's fact cold. It's cascade to use for winter period. So suppose for SO is potentially effect Jan dalla furia sul nostro giù 17 non factory for come for SO the course. Se had last past summer someone who remember if you follow me when last past summer think body also factory for come for SO the course due now also factor for the winter where come it was summer 21 and in particular 16 and 3 or 4 p.m. and 3 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy as Rapson remember think about it on the body machine suppose did مشهورة التوازي درام بزنك سوزيم تسوزي تسمتنس ما purpose rectification to change it's better than reps to thought of me I really used to do integration also for the spring summer the auto intense factor for the spring association soft for the summer agit for the summer for the for the auto one second agit soft sono stati in general for the season seguire sa così che agiti se che in grigio tristissimi questo film sempre absolutely incomplete mette no considering the fact that it's winter it's cold this year it's contrary we complete should complete but when I say sentence absolutely incomplete I'm referring to me as referred to me yes in particular perhaps particular fact for this year for the fact that I don't feel cool but I feel cool less than the other people thanks to a series of practice I do follow about two practice I do follow in some years through which shows that we fate cold and when it comes winter periods winter weather reports periods hours ed what according check spiritual su practice in this case it's in the first part of the comedy with an asterisk so someone is interested see already this first part with the first comedy with an asterisk to notare su practice and non fosse the people related in connotius Factory feel core 90 think yes non si pensa da I think 95% the feel core or even in general in some way for me always good instead about the scatto sotto tangent I don't know if I can say something just for me it's good and to complete in fact maybe as a machine as this in gari di afro finché te per ti si ripeti c'è fuori fino a niente fanno anti level Celsius important thing is to see it ti vedi Strifoto di sa essere sepoltini sono se corti in genere mi pensate ci usiamo storia adesso suppose che non andate a ripetere se sky in the repeat at considering trend last days in particular yesterday according to what the my sensations I think I think it's possible that later in the afternoon so which is the early afternoon it became I think some maps if not total mostly cloudy and also that might rain effettivamente truly simile remoto possibility это so is no obviously went to Magic and Wizards suppose to see if the it's like today really clear. Well, bad, better country, bad, well, at the moment. So season, بتقولون إنه وقت كورتين من فراس سانك فراس ميكس تقولون إنه كورتين زي ما سنترستان number one among number one of ma Gerting also Berti Europeus particularly third Berti Breus it was the beautiful grey curtain with the beautiful painted wing branches but ripping on the passage from the Breus fact no curtain also things that is Smith sì sono che si chiamano come section ci should be ponte eterne first comment the first comment si è come section I don't know if you can see notice it really well if you shot 3 BMI I think I see the green flowers, younger flowers mixed with tiny plants. Or if not even better, surely better, so I'm sure the first part of the video which per usual I showed you the weather scatter CGI from this classic mythical Windows classic mythical room because as soon as you also because there are some laundry also other mythical room with other mythical window. Or for a broader perspective, also for this other project is a shot similar to classical shot film del TRSU for the previous curtain bit beautiful grey curtain beautiful pentabenches perhaps first curtain nostro da parte calare curtain if I remember exactly this sure di calare curtain still cover major channel and so now we have one day lincito and this shot was saying this shot is also rated to effect buff and reason the glory shoot also and reason but more one reason because if così measure a sigaretta special sentence so che is used for the previous curtain bit beautiful curtain beautiful pentagon benches perhaps so che for first curtain also in case I don't remember exactly this and also in case I know a series you already did for this new thing sorry but I repeat the expression also in case for 5 times various is little speech or sentences it is but also and always better visible for me its entity and in this shot at this point is mythical legendary shot As regarding my issue, the new activism, but for domestic activism, the first days of last October, but it's important to support is also based on activism. In fact, now I'll see you read the military special sentence for the curtain also for it, because so valid also for it, so repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me, its entity, you need a shot, sequence mythical legendary shot. And finally, from a mythical keeper, NGX 640, PG 625, also in this case it's me original shot. Questi molto people follow the process reading to sono brani mi sister sono myself to also baskets and finally I hope you all get back to dates late in general also from us in fact when see late more from us and if maybe begins last December 31 in that occasion for the first time it's late in general and also for the record but not at all from us because this period it's a kind of normal to me when make breakfast at this house but se mi dà late but above all important is that dovresti fare io quando record reaction se non è scritto cosa sarà in fact max finiterne som lite start with SVM lite restart with finiterne drinking milk at finiterne in parte metti adesso così adesso think record is record se non è so straccio ora due ripeto i cose si cari record letto insomma infatti se mi dà not more not yes just roll your just in quote 13 and 37 minutes. At the important thing is that in some way also they fortunate with so I'm really angry. And as we always say, breakfast is on the most beautiful thing for absolutely. senza il massimo di mettere lo stesso morto in maniera, ma questo lo solo sto conti che l'effetto di extra formuli sono frati e magari ex user crescita frati for x go for frati go we're going to do 5 and towards the 50 on the reports and beautiful red black and so white that different in comparison with the previous model and all things that perhaps know if insomma in fact for in frati with the report at the time repeat should be time should be this tra i primi si vedete one day or one time se non time ci capite si better per detto nei c'è stato these things e meglio di speech fornisano non show so bisogno di gioco che metto mostrare insomma nessuno fornisare a biscuit non è fatto la membri sul combo sul biscuit in senso finché trovano messi a gioco biscuit a gioco chip cookies o cookies chip chocolate chips e fatto mistero so fatto biscuit mi stranici ma in particolare la tua incredibile da inizio sono fatto mica fa questo shot anche di coffee così ma tu sono quick shock mi fa questo andato lo shot come diviso la shot non è flash think non è flash think saremo un senso che lo sto conci mi sente via sono entrato per adesso Petro così non è quick si finisce down dei sequenze mi brought it un senso think 190 21 tu dei senso che lo sto conci di tamle via sono entrato su Petro so senza momento le td ai pattern inserte di un secondo mix su very good news e un indice also tecnica di breakfast su questa bomba si in particolare mega bomba e in funzione di si la spiegata il gioco vedo che ma storia su corso anni fingo tu fosse da su dette period e iniziamo in questo che tolle di questa breakfast su questa mega bomba sono di cosa pozzi si è in farebbe si stato con da Italian si ragazzi mi sta per position e perhaps also che segue with the Bama mess mangiare better si second place position because attraverso questa posizione familiare dark, infatti Italian Palm Dark Chocolate Chip Seals fa così a due come nel motivo because they are really super bad. Anzi, tomorrow si può fare perché hanno detto tomorrow what probably happen. Ma sì.